So I'm ill, just to chuck that out there. Not like ill, just ill. We've had a bad couple of weeks, hence why I haven't updated anything. I did film a couple of pregnancy test things, didn't upload them because, life has been a bit shit. So a couple of weeks ago, when my dad come back from Thailand, and literally within a couple of days, my dad got really ill. And he had really bad stomach pains, and it was not good, and he ended up getting a really bad form of salmonella, basically. Which then caused my dad to have a heart attack. So my dad's ill. He's getting better, but he's a very fit and healthy man. He does a lot of exercise every day, so obviously this isn't the kind of thing you'd expect a healthy person to have. But yeah, my dad had a heart attack, and then I got ill. Not with that though. So going to see my dad and stuff, when we had to go in, he basically got put in quarantine because of the salmonella poisoning, but because of this whole coronavirus thing as well, it went through the roof. And to go in to visit my dad, we had to dress up with the visor, the mask, the whole thing. It was crazy. My dad does not have coronavirus, which is awesome. But yeah, fast forward to a week and a bit after, a week after my dad decides to have a heart attack. My dad has a heart attack. I decided to spend the weekend with my mum because, my dad was in hospital for ages and she was lonely, and my sister and her husband was down, who's also now he's gone somewhere with the army and stuff. So my sister's on her toddler bit now for months, 7 months. Ooh, a bird. Yeah, so I woke up Friday night. I was in bed with my mum. I made James sleep at his mum's. We went home, and so I was in bed with my mum, and then I woke up with really bad heartburn, and I felt really sick, and oh my god, a headache from hell, a headache that has pretty much beaten every headache that I have ever had. It was bad. And I am not one for taking painkillers, and I did not. I left it a long time before I took them. So yeah, fast forward to the whole weekend being over, headache still there. Monday, oh my god, this Monday just gone. Headache all day. Headache hurting my head and eyes so bad, it was painful. So James came home for lunch, and I was just about to take him back, and I just said to him, my head feels funny, really funny, dizzy, and I was dizzy and felt horrible, and we took him back to work, and then I had to go to a shop literally 3 seconds away from work, so I parked in the car park, got the bits I needed, got back in the car, sat in the car, my lips went numb, my eyes were rolling. I rang my mum and I was like, hi, I don't feel very good. And my mum was like, you need to call the doctor because you've had this headache for a couple of days now. And I was like, yeah, okay, I'll ring the doctor. But because of this whole coronavirus thing, everywhere's on we'll ring you back mode to see if, we need to see you. And I was like, that's fine, ring me back. So I sat there for half an hour and realised my headache was getting worse, and my eyes were now seeing 4 things that was meant to be one thing. And I was rang James and I just said, babe, you need to come and get the kids from school for me because I can't see properly and I feel really sick. So James told his boss, come and met me at the car, decided to go and get the kids from school. And then I stayed in the car while he went to go and collect the kids from school, and I had fallen asleep. And it just, I felt funny is what I kept saying. I feel very funny. And then the kids got in the car and we started to drive home. We almost get home. And then I don't really remember a great deal after this point. Basically, they thought I had a seizure because I was rolling and nodding, and my eyes were rolling. Not good. So James said he was in behind a learner driver. They kept stalling at the red light. He was at the green light. James overtook the learner driver. The learner man looked fucking angry apparently. And James was like shouting out the window, my wife's having a seizure, get him to move out the way, like I need to pull over, I'm in the middle of the road. So he like hoons round and stops outside this massive like building area, and the builders are like, are you alright? And he's like, my wife's having a seizure. He's on the phone to like 999 on hold for like 5 minutes. And apparently this whole time I was like, I can kind of remember hearing people's voices and stuff, so you know, this would go on for a little bit. So basically the ambulance turn up, come and get me. It's pissing down with rain. I am soaked through. All my obs come back fine. My blood pressure fine. Everything was fine. My head was just splitting. By the time I come around properly, Edward was crying in the back of the car because the kids were there. Sky was like laughing, loving life, thinking, you know, I get mum's bed. I don't know. She just doesn't care. Like, she's like, plus Sky's kind of seen me have a seizure before, but this was down to like a really high temperature. My body doesn't regulate temperatures very well. I'm like a child still. So yeah, so I go to the hospital, they do blood works, they've strapped me up to a monitor, they've tested my pee, they've asked me 6 times if I'm pregnant, and I'm like, no, I can't get pregnant, it doesn't happen. Like, are you sure? I'm sure because I'm bleeding right now. And they're like, oh, okay. Are you sure you're not pregnant? I'm literally losing my shit. Doctor comes in and tells me I do not need a CT scan right away because, you know, it's a seizure. But I'm not allowed to drive until I've gone to the FIT clinic, which I was like, oh, for God's sake. Like, she said it can be up to 2 weeks. I'm thinking, God's sake, 2 weeks is a long time when you have to drive your kids to school every day, or get public transport, which takes about 40 minutes, or walk that takes over an hour. So like, I'm super happy at this moment. And then next thing I know, a nurse comes in and says, we're just waiting for your bloods to come back. Can you wait in the waiting room? I had no shoes, no phone, and I was soaking wet. And I was in there for ages, by the way. Can you go and wait in the waiting room when we get your blood results, and you can go home? So I wait in the waiting room for like half an hour, nobody comes out. I'm thinking to myself, I'm just going to go home. So I go to reception and I'm like, I haven't got my phone. Can you put up my husband's number off of your system so I can ring him to come and collect me? And if there's anything wrong with my bloods, they can give me a call back and I will come back in if, you know, something really bad's happened. It's just, I'm wet, I'm cold, I want to go home. She said, that's fine. James comes and gets me. I get in the car, go home. 20 minutes of being at home, that doctor rings me back, who said I didn't need a CT scan, who told me I couldn't drive for like 2 weeks. And I was like, fucking hell, all right. So she's on the phone, everything's fine, my blood work, like nothing's come back, ace, like, you know, pretty cool. And I was like, look, I'm sorry I left, but I've got a really bad headache. You know, you lot kept trying to give me ibuprofen. I said I didn't like ibuprofen. Ibuprofen makes my tongue feel funny. But aspirin I would have taken if you had aspirin, but you didn't give me aspirin, you left me there, like, you know. Didn't want paracetamol and codeine as well. I was like, I don't want codeine. Like, give me aspirin. Aspirin gets rid of my headache. They didn't give me aspirin, so obviously I come home. And I said to her, I've taken aspirin, you know, I'm going to go have a bath. I feel terrible. My head really hurts. And then she says, oh, if you would have stayed, I would have given you a CT scan. By this point, I completely lost my shit with this woman. Like, completely went ape shit at this woman. Because she fucked me off. Major style. I was like, great. But no, I did not go back because I was in a foul mood. I had a bath and I pretty much ate tea and went to bed because I was in a terrible, terrible mood. The headache still continued throughout the week, and I think I rang my doctor the next day, which was Tuesday, and then she agreed with me that it wasn't a seizure. She thinks that it was a migraine, which I said I had, and I think it was a migraine that I had. It's just affected me really badly. She said if the headache continued, to go to the doctor, to go to the hospital and have that CT scan, which meant waiting for hours for it. And I was like, no, I'm sure it'll go away. I think it's hormone related. It didn't go away. So Friday, I rang my doctor and I was like, hey, can I see you guys? This headache's still here. Like, it is really bad. They basically sent me straight in for a CT. 10 hours later, I've been sat in the hospital having my bloods done, all over again, and a CT scan. I did not have a seizure. I had a migraine, which was the best news ever. but it's a hormone related migraine, which means it is something to do with my insides. So I went back to my doctor. I'm now allowed to drive. I've been put on Probimorph, which is basically, what is it? A beta blocker. But they also use it, this is like amazing, I love it when medicine's like this, but they also use it for migraines, anxiety, panic attacks, depression, beta blockerness. Like, that thing is used for everything. So at the moment I have to take 1 a day. Next week I have to take 2 a day to try and get rid of it. Nothing the first day. I took it the first day, nothing happened. Last night I felt really dizzy after taking it. Really dizzy, and they did say that could happen. But I also now have to go to the fertility doctor so they can look to see what's going on, because they think it's related to the bitch that turns up every month. So yeah, that's cool. Sucks a bit, but I'm allowed to drive. And then on top of that, with all this coronavirus thing that is going on, there is kids getting kicked out of my kids' school left, right and centre. The moment they start to cough, they're being sent home. My son, who is 10 and a genius, has decided he's going to try and cough all day at school to see if they'll send him home. So far it's nearly 1 o'clock in the afternoon, and I don't think he's kept up to his half of the I'm going to cough all day bargain, because he hasn't been sent home yet. But I do know of people's kids that have been sent home today due to coughing and sneezing. So, and it's not really down in North Devon, so it's all fun. I've got a migraine, my head is still pounding, and I feel very high. Not due to any tablets either, it's just the way my head is like feeling. Still doesn't feel great. But yeah, that's my update for this month, because I haven't updated you guys on anything. Bye guys.